Hi friends, welcome back to the Round Door podcast. It's time for another story together.
Hold on, Lancy. Before we start, I want to quiz you. Do you remember last episode's story when the dragon gets his eyes?
Of course! The painter added one tiny dot to the dragon's eyes, and the dragon came alive and flew up into the sky, right?
Exactly. But I noticed today's story is the complete opposite. Last time, leaving out the one stroke made it incomplete. This time, adding one extra stroke is what ruins everything.
Wow, you put it perfectly. Today's idiom is called 画蛇添足, adding feet on a snake. It's also about adding something to a painting, and yet the result couldn't be more different.
Adding feet on a snake? You mean you draw a snake and then give it feet? But snakes don't have feet at all.
You've already guessed half of it. So, what kind of trouble did those extra feet cause? Let's listen and find out. Long ago, in the south of China, there was a state called Chu. In Chu lived a wealthy gentleman named Lord Zhao. His home was a great big house with a wide courtyard out front and a small grove of bamboo growing behind it. Many people who worked for Lord Zhao lived in his house. These people were usually known as retainers. Every day they bustled in and out, keeping the house spotlessly clean. Once a year, Lord Zhao would gather his whole household to honor their ancestors, thanking them for keeping everyone safe. From early morning, the retainers hurried back and forth. They set up a big table in the main hall while the kitchen busily prepared all kinds of good food. Some scrubbed the floors, others arranged beautiful flowers. By noon, the hall was clean and inviting, and a sweet fragrance drifted through the air. The ancestral table was piled high with delicious food: savory meat, round, plump fruit, steaming hot rice, and a special jug of wine. This wine was meant for just honoring the ancestors. It was fragrant and sweet, the kind people rarely tasted on ordinary days. Lord Zhao led everyone to stand before the table and spoke earnestly to the ancestors for a long while. After the ceremony, Lord Zhao looked over at the retainers who had worked hard all day. Feeling they deserved a reward, he wanted to thank them properly.
"Come here,"
Lord Zhao said with a smile.
"This jug of ceremonial wine has already been offered to the ancestors. Now I'm giving it to all of you. You've worked hard. Take it and enjoy."
With that, Lord Zhao gently set the jug on a small table at the front of the hall and went inside to rest. The 6 retainers gathered around the little table, glancing at one another, and not a single one dared to be the first to reach for it. The retainer standing at the very front was named A-Xiang. A-Xiang's mind worked especially fast, and he loved to get ahead of everyone else in whatever he did. He was the first to speak.
Listen, everyone.
A-Xiang said in a low voice.
There isn't much wine here. With 6 of us, each would only get a tiny sip. That's hardly enough to enjoy.
Another retainer named A-An, standing nearby, thought for a moment and asked,
"So, what do you suggest we do?"
A-Xiang's eyes lit up.
I have a great idea. Each of the 6 of us draws a snake on the ground. Whoever finishes first gets to drink the whole jug alone. That's the fairest way.
Everyone thought it over. After all, whoever drew the fastest would win the wine, and whoever was slow could blame no one but themselves. So they all nodded in agreement and said,
All right, let's do it.
The 6 men each picked up a thin little twig from the ground, lined up side by side, crouched down, and got ready to draw. A-Xiang thought smugly to himself,
I've known how to draw snakes since I was little. This jug of wine is as good as mine. 1, 2, 3, go!
All 6 twigs began moving across the ground at once. A-Xiang's hands were especially quick. First, he drew a small round head, then a curving body behind it, and finally a sharp pointed tail. In just a few strokes, a snake appeared before him. It looked as if it was swimming and slithering all at once, utterly lifelike. A-Xiang put down his twig, lifted his head proudly, and glanced left and right. He looked over at A-An, who was only halfway done. As for the other 4, some had just started on the snake's head. Others were still slowly tracing the body. Everyone was far, far behind A-Xiang. A-Xiang smiled. He stood up, brushed the dust off his hands, and strolled unhurriedly to the little table where he picked up the jug of wine. The jug was a little heavy, the wine sloshing inside with a soft gurgle. A-Xiang held it up, brought his nose to the spout, and breathed in deeply. A sweet, fragrant aroma rushed straight into his nose.
What a wonderful smell,
A-Xiang thought.
This whole jug will be mine any moment now.
But just as he was about to open the jug, his eyes swept over the 5 others who still hadn't finished. He couldn't help feeling smug.
They're so slow. I still have plenty of time. You know, just drawing a plain snake is too boring. Why not add a few feet to mine? Then my snake will be even more impressive than theirs. And when they look up, their jaws will surely drop in amazement.
Thinking this, A-Xiang held the jug in his left hand, picked up the twig again in his right, and crouched back down beside his snake. Chuckling to himself, he drew one foot after another beneath the snake's body. Swish, swish, swish. 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4. A-Xiang was so absorbed in drawing that he didn't even notice how far along the others had gotten.
When they look up,
A-Xiang thought secretly,
they'll all say, A-Xiang is amazing. His snake even has legs.
Suddenly, a loud voice rang out beside him.
I'm finished.
A-Xiang whipped his head around, and to his shock, it was A-An. A-An stood up, strode over to A-Xiang, reached out, and snatched the jug right out of his hands. A-Xiang was stunned, his twig frozen in midair. He looked down at his snake. It now had 6 skinny feet, 3 on each side, and looked so strange it hardly resembled a snake at all. It looked more like some long, odd little bug.
Wait,
A-Xiang scrambled to his feet.
the wine is mine. I finished first.
A-An shook his head and said earnestly,
A-Xiang, snakes don't have feet to begin with. How can you add feet to one? What you drew isn't a snake anymore. Mine is a real snake. So this jug of wine should be mine.
A-Xiang's face flushed red, and he opened his mouth to argue, but the words caught in his throat. He looked down again at his own strange-footed snake, then at A-An's, which had no feet at all and was drawn clean and clear. At that, his confidence drained away, and he couldn't say a single word. The other 4 men also stood up, nodding, and said,
A-An is right. A snake is a snake, and snakes have no feet. The contest was to draw a snake, not a bug. A-Xiang, this time the fault is your own.
Carrying the jug, A-An walked triumphantly back to his place. He opened it and poured the wine into his little cup, and the fragrance filled the entire hall. A-An raised the cup and took a sip.
Delicious.
A-An said with a smile.
Thank you, my lord, for this fine wine.
A-Xiang stood where he was, staring at his footed snake, and then at the cup of wine in A-An's hand, feeling both sad and full of regret. A-Xiang let out a sigh.
I clearly finished first. Why did I have to do something so unnecessary and add feet to my snake?
After a while, Lord Zhao came out from inside. Seeing the cup in A-An's hand and the 6 strange drawings on the ground, he could pretty much guess what had happened. He smiled and said nothing more, and simply gave A-Xiang a gentle pat on the shoulder. That single pat said more than any words could, and A-Xiang remembered it clearly for the rest of his life. From that day on, whenever A-Xiang set about a task, he would pause first and ask himself,
Is this enough? If I keep going, will I end up ruining what I've already done well?
This story is called 画蛇添足, adding feet on a snake. It means that something done perfectly well can be ruined by one unnecessary extra step. Just like A-Xiang, He had drawn his snake quickly and beautifully, but because he couldn't resist adding a few feet, he failed the very contest he should have won. Alright, that's where today's story ends. Friends, have you learned the idiom 画蛇添足, adding feet on a snake?
I have. But Lancy, how do you actually use it in a sentence? Can you give a few examples?
Of course. For example, if you finish a wonderful essay, then add in a bunch of pointless sentences. Your teacher might say those sentences are adding feet to a snake, and the essay reads better without them.
I get it. Let me try. If mom's soup already tastes great, but you add a big spoonful of salt and now it's too salty, that's also adding feet on a snake, isn't it?
Exactly right. Good job. That's a textbook case of adding feet to a snake.
So there are chances to add feet on a snake all over daily life. From now on, I'll remember to stop while I'm ahead.
Right. Doing something just right is enough. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.